Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Blazers Inside Access. I'm Kirk McDonald. We're joined by Belhaven head softball coach Kevin Griffin. Coach, your team is off to a great start this year at 5-0, coming off a doubleheader sweep of NCAA Division I Alcorn State, 9-0 and 2-1. Tell us about your season so far and how the teams have been playing.
Well, so far, off to a good start. Offensively, we're hitting the ball really well right now. And as always, the most important thing in fast-pitch softball is to get good pitching. And we've gotten that in all 5 games so far this season.
You can kind of tell watching on Wednesday that the level of play has been brought up, especially like you mentioned at the plate. What has been key to that?
Just girls who really work hard and they want to put in extra effort before and after practice every day. They like to do things on their own and get the extra work in, and it's really paying off so far.
Have a big weekend coming up at the Gulf Shores Invitational in Gulf Shores, Alabama. 5 very quality opponents there. Is this a weekend that's really going to test your team to see exactly where they are at this point in the season?
You're right, Kirk. It's going to tell us where we stand right now. We've played 5 games, and the teams we're playing, they've all played 15 or 16 games so far. So they're a little more battle-tested than we are. We just want to see, where we stand at this point against good competition, and Lindsey Wilson's probably going to be the biggest test for us this weekend.
Playing teams like this weekend, does that really help prepare you for the Southern States Athletic Conference schedule that's going to be coming up here in a few days?
It really does. Our conference is like the SEC of the NAIA, so anytime you can play quality competition and get a good gauge of where you're at, that's great. And one thing it can do is we can make a statement this weekend to the rest of the country. If we can knock off teams like Lindsey Wilson and Houston Victoria, there's no doubt that we'll jump into that first poll and get in pretty deep into the top 25.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Blazers Inside Access. Our C Spire Athlete of the Week is Chris Good of the Belhaven baseball team. Good locked up a 1-0 shutout victory over Lee this past weekend as he shut out the Flames in 7 innings. He was also named the Southern States Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Week for his performance against the Flames. Speaking of baseball, they took 1 game of 3 from the Flames this past weekend and then split a midweek 2-game series with top-ranked and NAI defending national champion Tennessee Wesleyan on Tuesday and Wednesday. They lost Tuesday's game by the final of 4-1, but came back with a Wednesday night victory. 7-4 was the final there. Belhaven now will head into this weekend for a key Southern States Athletic Conference series at Loyola beginning on Friday night at 6 p.m., the doubleheader at 1 p.m., and you can hear all the action on the Blazers Sports Network beginning Friday night with Game 1 of the series. The Belhaven women's basketball team had its season come to a close last Thursday, falling in the Southern States Athletic Conference Tournament to Southern Polytechnic State 70-59. The Blazers end the season with a record of 13-17. The Belhaven men's golf team opened up its spring schedule earlier this week at the Spring Hill College Invitational in Mobile, Alabama. The Blazers finished 6 out of 7 teams in the tournament field. The Belhaven men's and women's tennis teams had good starts to this week as they both defeated Louisiana College on Tuesday. The men won 9-0. The women topped Louisiana College 7-0. Both teams will head to Montgomery, Alabama this weekend for the Auburn-Montgomery Invitational. The tournament kicks off on Friday with the men taking on Campbellsville. The women will battle AUM. This has been another edition of Blazers Inside Access. I'm Kirk McDonald. Thanks for joining us this week. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Belhaven Blazers. And our athletics webpage, blazers.belhaven.edu, will keep you up to date on all the latest news and information on the world of Blazers athletics. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time on another edition of Blazers Inside Access.